an interest in planning. I sat on the planning committee for 10 years and I was chairman for 3. I came along to speak when the plans were determined, delighted to see the committee, I think pretty unanimously, overturn the proposal. I believe that, as you can see from the photograph, or blown up photograph that I've sent to you, that shows the proposed development site, and you can see that it makes a very useful contribution to the floodplain, and I think it would be disastrous if that area was built upon. In my time on the planning committee and after, I think there have been 12 applications for various forms of development on the land shown as Green Wedge. Without exception, they've all been refused or, in the main, actually withdrawn. One of which was for a gravel site, which I only mentioned that, well, that was withdrawn, but I only mention that because that gives us a detail of the substrata, because you might put a bund over to stop the water coming in, but I believe with a gravel substrata that the water will find its way underneath the bund and come up, and the poor unfortunates in this proposal would find themselves knee-deep, I think, fairly quickly. When I've lived at Prentices, which is not far away from here, I'm a keen gardener and I dug lots of holes to put trees in. And at certain times of the year, if you dug the hole, it would fill up with water. The water level is fairly high. One of the items mentioned was the council's shortfall on low-cost housing. Nobody seems to have mentioned that we have an application coming through the council planning system currently for 13,000 houses between North Springfield and Great Lees. And it's a green garden arrangement, I understand. Now, my understanding of, well, I've been out of planning for a long time, there is an obligation to provide 35% development of any development over a particular size to low-cost housing. Ironically, it's the appellant's side that have got the application in for the 13,000 houses that would have been passed by now, but with the delay recently announced by the government for the Chelmsford bypass, we need the bypass in before we can build the 13,000 houses, so I'm told. So that's the only reason that the council is running a bit behind currently, in my opinion, with its low-cost housing target. I know they're very conscious of that. I believe the appellant's case is flawed in that you can see primarily the main reason for objection, mine, is I've seen the Chelmer in flood, and from Chelmer Village Way right the way to Great Meadow, which is on the other side of the valley, is probably 1.5 miles, I would think, perhaps 2 miles if you look a bit to your left. And I think this would create a terrible precedent, because a bund would create on the other side over at Great Meadow. There's no reason why the development which is scheduled over there shouldn't come down onto the plain the same as it is proposed here, and would create a channeling of the Chelmer. I think it would create a dangerous precedent. I strongly object to it personally. I think that's all I need to say. Thank you for the opportunity to make my points. I'd be pleased to field any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Frost. Mr. Young, do you have any questions?
Yes, no questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Frost, your picture that you've submitted, just to orientate myself, where's that photo being taken from?
It's taken from as you go over the bridge, or coming from Chelmsford,
Yeah.
the first piece of ground you find on the other side, that's where you're looking at it from, on the right of Chelmer, of the bypass.
Yeah, 138.
Yes, it used to be a nice, it's been cattle over that for years, and then latterly horses grazed on that site. It's only since the last few years with, again, the appellant trying to get every ounce out of this open space, which I've known as open space for 50 years, to take value out of it, that they've taken the horses off the site, and it looks rather overgrown at the moment, and one could be misled into thinking, well, it would sharpen it up and look a bit better, but it certainly wouldn't. And as you can see from that photograph, 80%, I would think maybe 85% is part of the flood plain. It's very risky to even consider developing it, and I'm not surprised to hear that there's an alternative proposal in the air for drains. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's help with the story. Thank you for your time today, Mr. Frost.